versus the Street Fighter Profits.
Yeah, the Big Ninja, it was actually cool. Like, we're not just saying, his character name is the Big Ninja. Like, that's the way you get referred to on commentary. Because the Big Ninja was on the outside. And then three of them got in and got beaten up by the Rangers. But I couldn't, it was so short, I couldn't tell that I was actually part of the match.
And it doesn't make sense either, because why would he run in and break up with him? Why wouldn't he try and get the win? It was ultimately rubbish comedy. Yes, that has plenty more of a place in a house show in that. But I think this is kind of this plus R-Truth being in the WWE title picture. It's a mark of what Vince likes, and this felt very Vince to me.
Didn't it just? Yeah, but it's okay, man, because WrestleMania main event, the Big Show is also back, and has had a babyface turn.
Yeah, oh, he was a heel last night. Oh my god. So yeah, he's babyface. Maybe that happened on the Big Show on Netflix.
Could be.
I don't know if that's canon. But yeah, the Big Ninja versus the Big Show. Such a weird role on this, because not only did he come out here, he also gave Christian a pep talk, he also set up the tag title match for next week. It's like, what are you?
He's the Big Show.
The MC, the new general manager of Raw? It's such lazy writing. It's really, really half-assed.
It's ad-libs. Like, and if ad-libs book maybe the way that we're going forward, and the Big Show comes
Big Ninja, the Big Show, World Association. And so yeah, Christian's backstage, sort of wrestling, he should do it or not. Then Seth Rollins comes out. It's just some more back and forth, quickly enough Ray, kind of seen this before, but there was some progression this week. Dominic runs out from behind Seth and sort of covers him, and then avoids Murphy and Theory to run up. I thought, I'm surprised by this, Dominic looked really good here.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Actually, very much enjoyed the segment. And also, Buddy Murphy and Austin Theory, the perfect rubbish henchman. When Dominic runs out into the audience, Theory and Murphy don't follow the direction he ran. They ran at the plexiglass and was like, how did he get away?
Yeah.
It was perfect bebop and rocksteady rubbish henchman action, which is then great for Seth to be annoyed at them. So, got a bigger than laugh and a thumbs up from me.
I wasn't so hot on that. I would like Murphy to be cooked a bit more intelligently, but I thought Dominic looked good in this. And
I was going to say your problem there is that Murphy didn't wrestle during the Attitude Era, so he can't be taken seriously.
Good point. After this, we got MVP and Lashley looking for R-Truth. And their tag match later on, Drew McIntyre stepped in, and this is where MVP challenged them both to put all the titles on the line. And Drew said, alright then.
Yeah, so because MVP called him it's not a champion, he's a contender, and said that said this should be a winner takes all match, and Drew sort of accepts it. Drew was like, well, let's not accept this, the two will crush their truth. But MVP kind of goes him into it, and then he sort of pauses and like, you know what, I'm a fighting champion, so yeah, let's put all the belts on the line tonight. And Drew then second by saying he could be the new Becky 2.
I actually thought as we throughout this night was excellent, because this bit here was really well performed. Earlier on, we didn't really talk about it. Before Lana comes out, MVP has this great bit of motivation against Drew, saying he's cheated. He calls himself an innocent, like a babyface champion, a fighting champion. But it wasn't Bobby's fault that he lost. He's using another man's wife to win. Which is such a nice turnaround of
absolutely adore the partnership with MVP and Bobby Lashley. It's so great. And now that Lana is there, it's probably even better.
Hope so, because she might be with Natalia. Natalia and Liv Morgan, who I forgot were a tag team. They tagged her a bit, I swear.
They were WrestleMania opponents.
Like a month ago or something, they were tagging.
Pretty
sure.
Oh, I don't know. I Liv Morgan hasn't been on TV since before Money in the Bank. She's been talking about how she can't find herself or something.
It doesn't matter though, because the Iconics beat them in minutes. They cheated to win, and another Big Show segment. And then it was Natalia backstage saying to Morgan, "Oh, you don't respect me. You don't have gratitude for me." Liv Morgan just walks off, and then out of the background, like that Homer meme, where it just emerges from the hedge next to Ned Flanders. Out comes Lana, who said, "I don't feel valued either." And it was like they were having separate monologues, like the interior monologues. This was so badly scripted and so woodenly performed. It was awful.
Natalia is not the best actor in the world. It is shocking that Lana gets cast in movies, because she's also...
I'm sorry, I went... We out of time?
Yeah, we're out of time, unfortunately, on that Natalia segment. It's a shame that they're not keeping that gimmick up, really, because it really was the most entertaining thing on that show for a week. Yeah, and the Iconics also cut a promo on Banks and Bailey, which then followed into another segment they got later on tonight. So I think, like, having all of these people have, like, 5 segments each, kind of, like, it's like, wow, the roster seems thin at the moment, right?
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, usually I'm a fan of interweaving stuff and spacing stuff throughout the show, but they did it wrong. They just did it wrong here. Like, they used the same people, and 4 or 5 times when really it's about 2 or 3 you want. Man, maybe I'm talking myself out of how good this episode was. It was really just the Randy Orton Christian stuff.
I was going to say, I was shocked by your score. Like, I felt like a YouTube commenter and when I saw you at the score, man. I nearly texted you.
That was worked.
But, like, in fairness to you, the Randy Orton Christian stuff was so good, but, like, everything else in the show was so-so. The other thing on Natalia as well, they said she's got a lot to prove. Like, what more has she got to prove? Like, she beat Ruby twice. Like, what does she have? Like, who knows? They don't know what they're going to do with it. And now that Heyman's gone, like, there's probably even less for her to do.
After that, Christian just came out and said he accepts Orton's challenge, short and sweet.
Why was he on the stage?
Because they've done too many backstage bits.
Well, the thing, so Christian had like a segment just before the Natalia Lana one, where he was backstage, and Big Show, who was incredibly sweaty, like from just going out there to punch a ninja. And then like Christian was just standing on the stage, and it almost felt like a stagehand pushed Charlie Caruso out and went, "Can you tell that guy that he's not supposed to be there?" But we're trying to do a show, he's just wandered out onto the ramp for no reason.
It's been a while. He's just looking for his peeps. You've been out in the the plexiglass is in the way. Oh my god, there's so many people here. This is terrible. Unsafe. MVP approached Apollo Crews backstage, sort of asking that they should work together, but Crews says, "Nah, mate, I am a babyface," and MVP got a bit angry. I'll go into the next segment later, because then we can go straight into the next Crews bit, which was Shelton Benjamin taking on Apollo Crews in a very short match. Shelton tries to cheat with his feet on the ropes, so Apollo Crews rolls him up, hooks the rope with his arm. I thought we were going to get an actual match. I was quite excited for surprising. It's another good thing. Yeah, Crews retained via some very obvious tactics.
And this ties into what I was saying the other week about him picking Kevin Owens and knowing he was injured. I think there is something to all of this. The other thing I'm actually really digging on for is this Apollo Crews like slow burn storyline. I'm a fan of this.
Let's hope it's seen through. I fully expect this to be dropped shortly. But yeah, Apollo Crews turning heel was always reportedly the plan before he moved from SmackDown. I think he will be a great addition to this MVP faction. Not just because they're all black, it's also because it's kind of that nice mid-card, upper-card level. So, in between those two segments, we've also got Charlotte, Flair, and Ric Flair talking to each other backstage, as if they didn't know each other.
Well, I don't know. Charlotte was like, she was quite sort of giggly, be like, "Oh, Dad," and like, here's what I think this segment was doing. Now, Rick was asking, like, why do you keep responding to people on Twitter? And Charlotte says, I do let people get under my skin, but really at the end of the day, I can do whatever I want. So I think she's now officially a heel.
But she was smiling so much.
But yeah, because I think she likes her dad.
It's a baby face thing.
I thought this was a confirmation that she is a heel now, but I could be proved very wrong when she's on SmackDown, or if she's going to be part of that show, or if she's just on Raw again. I feel like I'm going to be proved wrong, but this felt to me like, yeah, Charlotte's a heel.
From her demeanour in this program, I thought, they've soft reset her to be a total babyface.
I don't be a babyface, she's going after Asuka.
I don't know. But anyway, she said woo at the end of it. After this, we just get an absolute hodgepodge of backstage segments. R-Truth scared off Akira Tozawa's Ninja Gang. There's going to be a recap of Asuka Nia Jax.
One of my more favourite moments of the night. Truth rolls up, Ninja's approach.
Asuka, that's a throw on Nia Jax. After that, Drew's getting worried that Truth get pinned. Big Show join the Viking Profits. Sacred tag title match next week.
In that other Truth segment, that wasn't the one with the ninjas, because in the ninjas one, that was just Drew telling Truth to get serious. So that led into the other segment, which is where Truth said, I did get serious, I fixed the problem. There's now one title on the line, and it's yours. So now Drew is at this big disadvantage here, where if Truth gets pinned, even if Truth gets pinned, Lashley or MVP becomes the champion. And Truth basically says to Drew, like, look, I know what it's like to lose a title, so I'm not going to let that happen to you. Which then leads to which now with the Big Show, then related to the match where I've got a theory for next match.
Do tell.
So the story of this match was, Drew runs wild, Truth tags himself in and then gets beaten up for his troubles, and Drew is desperate with a hot tag, which actually I thought this added a lot of some nice tension. Never was there any doubt that Bobby or MVP was going to win, I don't particularly feel, but I actually thought that added quite a nice bit of drama to the match of Truth wanting to get in and save his title for something that he couldn't possibly, he can't save with Truth in. And then Drew gets the hot tag, he runs wild, hits the Claymore and MVP, and then he tags Truth and does the old Enzo and Cass finish, so Truth can get the pin. Next week, I think Truth is going to think he's the WWE Champion because he's the one who got the pin in the match. And we can run with that story for next week's episode.
I mean, that totally follows. And you know, that is funny. That is a funny thing. Well done. I don't want this sort of stuff anywhere near Drew and Bobby right now. This has been like a safe haven of seriousness for me. I know Lana's been involved, but that was only really the finish for Backlash. I thought now with her out the way, we were going to get a serious rematch build for Extreme Rules. What I don't want is Braun Strowman having this comedy throwaway filler pay-per-view feud on one show, and then on the other, like R-Truth is inserting himself in Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre. I can't believe I'm even having to say that as a sentence.
You say inserting, Joe, but like those two have been feuding since WrestleMania. Drew and so Bobby and R-Truth.
Oh, I forgot about all that stuff. Yeah, well, anyway, it was like you said, it was quite an ingenious book segment because Drew could stay strong, very, very strongly booked. but the peril is almost diverted to someone else. So there is some down representation, which was good. However, like, if you take Drew out of this equation and you put Roman Reigns in his place, it's crap.
Yeah, right.
So I think that's a testament to how well Drew is carrying himself as champion.
Yeah. And I feel there are probably people who will call this WCW levels of stupid. This one actually wasn't, because when this was all played for, this was set up by the idiot's character. The idiot's character made this match, whereas in WCW it was set up by the actual authority figures who were supposed to be in charge of it. And also, yeah, we didn't have David Arquette win the match by pinning Eric Bischoff and to become the champion, even though his tag partner was the champion going in, was beating him.
So then Ric Flair got a really good promo, warning Christian against taking this 14 match. And we'll run through the next two matches because we're a bit over time anyway. And there's not much to say. Banks and Bailey came out to celebrate Bailey's birthday. They accepted the Iconics' challenge for next week. And the Iconics came down and actually had a good back and forth promo.
Yeah, I like that they really made reference to the Banks Meltdown story from last year that I still stand by Wilson, the legit story, and she did have this meltdown and she did sit with me. You know, I think all of that is completely true. I think WWE felt they put a false narrative it wasn't true. Like Virgin and one.
And in a rematch from the previous night, we got Nia Jax versus Asuka with a kind of action finish. So I'm just like,
though, because the ref fast counted.
Oh, was it a fast count?
Yeah, that's what the commentator was saying at the end of that. The referee fast counted the pin, so Asuka didn't get it.
Yeah, it's just another example of WWE not wanting to push Asuka. Like, we keep hearing that WWE are very much behind her as champion. I can't think of one thing that proves that since she won the belt. She didn't even win the belt. She won the Money in the Bank match, then she was given the belt after the fact. Charlotte Flair beat her twice, drew with Nia Jax, and she only won here because Nia Jax pushed the referee over and the referee got some revenge.
Jax distracted herself. A few people here are saying that it wasn't a fast count, but that's what the commentators were saying, that it was a fast count. So that's on the TV production.
Regardless, Nia has an out. This wasn't a strong, clean win for Asuka. That's what she needs right now. And then we got a Randy Orton promo, Charlotte Rusev, which set up an incredible climax. Such a good final segment that it has made me seemingly forget how much I actually enjoy this show. Where it had Christian coming down with the unsanctioned match, dressed all in black, because he didn't come with his ring gear. Those are really nice attention to detail. That's an obvious one that WWE don't always use.
He borrowed a man's
Yes. And I saw there were only 5 minutes left of this when Randy Orton, the bell rang, and Ric Flair comes out, and he does one last, no Christian, don't do it. And I thought, oh, okay, that's weird. I just still didn't know what was going on. And then, from out of nowhere, admittedly, Ric Flair low blows Christian right in the dick. I was shocked.
I did not see it coming. I really didn't. And then Randy hits the punt kick for the win. And he so slowly on the pin as well. It was so wonderful. Like the real slow, like looking at him, like a predator looking at his prey, rolling him over, half-assing the pin because he knows Christian's not kicking out. And then the selling by Orton afterwards, where he was like, "You made me do this. You were a fool here. I didn't want to do this." Begging medical staff to look after him and be like, is he going to be okay? Is he going to... I was like, you did this! But Randy thinks he has to do it. And this is like the brilliant psychotic Randy Orton that we probably should have had since, I don't know, 2007. But we're now getting it here in 2020. And it's really good stuff. Like, this is the most captivating Orton has been since the start of the Edge Group. In that first sort of 4-week build period into WrestleMania. This is easily the best Orton's been since then.
Yeah, totally agree. Utterly captivating performance and character from Randy. there's this wonderful moment where the medics, two medics have got in the ring, and they're sort of at Christian's head, holding his neck. And Christian's legs are crossed at the bottom. He's lying on his back, and his legs just crossed around the ankles. And Orton just gently, like a father tucking in his kid at night, just puts the feet uncrossed. And the medic's like, whoa, they back off. So, are we cool here? And Randy's like, I'm trying to help. And it's like you said, you did this, man. So interesting. Loved it. I'm excited to see what happens with him and Ric Flair now. I don't really know who he feuds with. I think, really, he should just feud with Drew McIntyre.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. We had this Backlash review, the Backlash live stream and the pre-show we did, like the same. Do you think we could have Randy versus Drew now? And I was like, yeah, because at this point, no one else feels like a top guy, like WWE Championship top guy, other than Randy Orton. So, absolutely going to go through Randy first.
Overall, I gave this a 4 out of 5. And I'm going to stand by it, because the same things happened, got into the final segment, blow me away so much. I should give that a 2 out of 5. So I thought largely that was a rubbish, uninspiring show with a very, very good main event. But that was overall. So I'm going to stick 4 out of 5.
I'm going to get 3. Because much I really did like all the Christian stuff and the Randy Orton stuff on this show. Overall, the show was quite inspiring. Actually, when you just kind of look back at all those segments and there was so much on this show, but yet not a lot. It's actually quite impressive how little there was on this show, considering how many segments there were.
What gets me is it's the sort of optimism about the future, and I'm interested in Orton and Flair. But as an overall picture of WWE, I'm not that excited, unfortunately. Before we get into all of your super chats to see what you guys thought of the show, let's do our wonderful let's have a Patreon shout-outs. That's $45 a month or more. Thank you.
Whoa. Do you know what they're getting tomorrow?
Tell me.
They're getting their 3-hour review of New Japan's Dominion from 2018, which features the actual greatest wrestling match ever between Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega. The 4th match in their quadrilogy. It is legit the greatest wrestling match ever. It is art. It is absolutely spellbinding. It's even better on a rewatch. So head over to the channel and watch that match ahead of time. The review is getting released tomorrow morning and features WrestleTalk.com writer for Brain, Brian Joyce, joining us for the main event to give his New Japan insight onto the show. I really enjoyed doing that review, and I swear it is so good. We try not to swear on those shows, but I can't help myself. It's so good. It's perfect.
It was so much fun. Do go over to Patreon and become a pledge hammer, and you can listen to that from tomorrow. But for now, thank you, Jam That Jam Josh.
Yes, there you go. Thank you for Jim Post. Jim Possible Podcast.
Thank you, Jam That James. Dylan. Over.
What time would you call this? How was your night? Oh, baby, you're fucking shut.
I am shattered.
Late night, eh? Good deal?
Yeah, it was nice.
Am I alright?
Yeah. Some was heavy. But you know,
Yes, I do.
nothing really there.
That's better.
Just put my
Just sit there
face
and then you go to bed. Just feel so first, I just go to bed, and then I don't know we need nothing to do. I won't be too bad.
I put my phone on every now and again. My data.
No, I messaged you just now. About half an hour, 2 minutes ago. How were the ladies?
Yeah, it was nice.
Did I have a nice birthday?
I did have a nice birthday. It's not her birthday till next Sunday.
I don't know.
But yeah, she did. And she loved it. She had all-in-one trouser suit and everything on like waistband. No, everyone else was dressed like me. Well, that's a lie. Shani was dressed a little bit. She had a nice top and a nice jeans, and then she put a jumper on later. So did Nicky had boots on, but I don't have boots, so.
Anything of excitement or worth, or just very, very good?
Actually, that on
Yeah, of course. No, wait, regulate.
I'm ready to have a shower.
Come! Stinky, yeah. Do you want me to wake you up and shake you? Grab your tin.
I'm going to stick my bag and everything.
Go down.
I wonder if I should leave my clothes down here because they smell.
They do smell.
Rather than
I don't mind the smell, but it's too loud. I think you'll be alright.
She get a t-shirt. Robin Banks, Lee Roberts.
Thank you very much. Vito Ventura, Pet Detective.
Always leave the crowd wanting, Brian Moore.
Well, thank you, Brian. Have a glass of sherry. Martel G6.
Very, very nice. Moving sideways here in crowd 3.
You'll never get this name right, you idiots. Matthew Zujewski.
Marky, new kid on the block, Ben Newcomb.
Thank you. Or Saint an Angel. Corey Cobain.
Lovely stuff. And lastly, we're going, Ryan Huntley.
Thank you very much. And also thank you to our wonderful moderator, Clinton Isabel, Magnetic Kim, Mama Head Rob, and as always, even though she said she'd be off today, I think the Godmother Jen. Your best. Hard work. Let's come with your super chats. Ashley Cartwright, is the regular sponsor AEW. It was a horseman. AEW needed a set. WWE do not deserve us fans.
I don't think it's a response to AEW. I think they really like Rick Flair and like having him on the show.
I think Joey JJ496 is Bischoff writing a ninja storyline because they have motorbikes. NWO Ninja World Order. No Heyman improves WWE Championship. Comedy.
Yeah, of course.
Dylan from Court, aka Vince Russo's BFF. You give him money. Can't really probably explain help him. They enjoy the Christian wedding stuff because I've been enjoying weekly wrestling as much recently. Watching a lot more stuff at the moment.
See, a few people said they're trying to get into wrestling the language because of few fights.
Fabio Geronimo, maybe Gonzalez Ninjas compete with 19. Support Wrestle Tour.
They're wearing masks. Like they're the safest people.
Jack Berry. And Cena going to come back to defend the Edge's honor.
Hey, some places are in the toilets. Like, you know, why don't we bring it to each other?
Phoenix, as someone who was too young to appreciate doing it over Christians around, should I be excited for his future possible matches, or is he now in the ring? Thanks guys, love you. Stay safe.
Well, Chris, I don't think Chris is unless it's a Saudi show, I think we might get into Christian reunion on a Saudi show. But like, yeah, Christian, just go and watch his feud with Randy Orton in 2011. Particularly their Money in the Bank match, but all the matches they had was Christian and Randy Orton match was so great.
Name drop surname also had a very sweet title. Very charismatic. Restricted hair as well. That's there, the OG Dog Ball. Here you show on Sam's leaving. Paul, aka Vince Russo, to be back again. Randy is the best heel in wrestling right now, including MJF. I'll throw over to you, WWE related.
Dark Cinema says it's unclear that WWE is trying to hide the preference for Charlotte to have the belt. It just turns off interest in the entire women's division. How to change it?
I don't think it will be changed. Charlotte